Hari Om, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Let us start today's session, Gatih Govinda Keertanam, the first session. We will start with a short prayer, and then we'll take things forward. Okay? Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Vidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. I'm not audible? Srinivasan, can you confirm if I'm audible or not?
Yeah, very much.
Okay. So, in case anyone feels I'm not audible, please check the audio at your end. I would like to introduce Srimati Pramodini Rao here, who's the director of Chinmay Bindu Gurukula and the head of school Kala Yoga of Chinmay Vishwavidyapeeth, to give the welcome address. Hari Om Pramodini ji, please.
Hari Om to all of you, and a very, very warm welcome, especially to our expert faculty, Sri Srinivasa Bhagavatar. God bless everyone who is joined. We are going into a very, very spiritual journey. This is called Sampradaya Bhajan, and of course you will get to learn more about it. But how did we get into this? We are a school of Kala Yoga where we are teaching Hindustani vocal, tabla and Basuri. So where did we get into this? So an interesting note that, how we got into this route is that many years ago we had organized a Sampradaya Bhajan by the brothers of Shobha who just spoke to you. And Satish and Santosh, they are twins, they sing. And they are learning with Srinivas ji. So who better to get as our faculty than Srinivas ji? And we are very, very happy and proud to have him here. Because till now, most of our sessions we have been conducting ourselves. So this time, to make more people happy, we've brought an expert faculty. So we wish you all the best. Have a lovely time. 5 days of good learning, 1 hour every day. And thanks to him, he has readily accepted, and he wishes that this continues. So let's hope, if everyone's interested, maybe we can have another session too in a later future. All right. So I will let Shobhaka introduce the faculty to you, and then we'll get going with the course. Hari Om to all. Welcome.
Hari Om once again. I have the opportunity to introduce Shri Srinivasan Bhagavatar, or Srinivasan Anna, or just Anna as he is fondly known by all of us, most of us rather. So Srinivasan Anna and his family have been engaging themselves in Nama Sankirtanam for over 3 decades, all with the grace and blessings of Shri Krishna Premi Swamigal. Srinivasan ji, or Anna, is supported by a lot of like-minded Bhagavatas, devotees who come from various walks of life all around India, we can say, and mostly predominantly in Bombay. What happens is all of us, I include myself in them, all of us gather over each week, gather together at some person's place every weekend and conduct bhajans. Mainly these events are conducted at residences so that the whole family and the whole community benefits out of the Nama Sankirtanam. And Anna's repertoire of bhajans span across Dakshina Sampradaya, Abhangs Rasiya. Rasiya bhajans are majorly in Braj Bhasha, and Vallabha Sampradaya bhajans in Gujarati. Apart from being conversant in the Sampradaya Paddhati, both Pracheena as well as Premika, he also specifically renders bhajans composed by saints like Kabir Das, Tulsi Das, Mirabai, Gita Govindam, Krishna Leela Tarangini, Samartha Ramadas Abhangs, etc., to mention a few. And my personal favorites are his Sita Kalyanams and Radha Kalyanams and Rukmini Kalyanams, with one day full of Ashtapadi and Divyanama Sankirtanam. And I can go on and on, but I would not want to do that. So over to Srinivasan Anna. Hari Om.
Radhe Krishna. Namo Namah Sadgurubhyah. Sadgurubhyo Namo Namah. Namo Namah Sadgurubhyah. Sadgurubhyo Namo Namah. Jnana Vairagya Sampurnan Hari Bhakti Parayanan Purvacharyan Aham Vande Sampradaya Pravartakan Kalikalochitam Dharmam Nama Sankirtanatmakam Nirnetum Avatirnantam Premikam Sadgurum Bhaje Nandasunam Radhikam Cha Bhavayantam Sada Hridi Vandeham Gurudevantam Krishna Prema Rasapradam Prahlada Narada Parashara Pundarika Vyasambarish Shukashaunaka Bhishmadalbhyan Rukmangada Arjuna Vasishtha Vibhishanadin Punyaniman Paramabhagavatan Smarami Hare Namaiva 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 Mama Jivanam Kalau Nastyeva 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 Gatiranyatha Nama Keertanamatrena Suprasannam Kripanidhim Bhakta Kolahalam Vande Bhakta Vishta Falapradam. A very warm welcome to all the Bhaktas who have joined today. Like Pramodini ji mentioned, this is indeed going to be a very interesting journey the next 5 days. And it is about a satsangam. Whenever we say satsangam, what immediately comes to our mind is a gathering of like-minded people. And the like-mindedness is all about divinity. And immediately in our minds, the image of a mandap, in the image of a crowd of people, the image of a dais, everything would come. We have everything today. All you bhaktas are around. We have a virtual dais, we have a virtual mandap, and we are going to have a really good divine 1 hour. Satsangam, like I said, is a gathering of bhaktas, Sat. This has been enabled for us today through the Chinmaya mission. And each one of us must really profusely thank them for giving us an opportunity to have a satsangam. Having a satsangam in itself is a great blessing. One doesn't get it so easily. Even with the best of facilities, one doesn't get it. Take my word. So a very warm welcome to all of you, my Radhe Krishnas and Namaskaras to each and everyone in the group. And let us proceed further. There is a beautiful sloka which we sing in our Bhajana Sampradaya. कलौ कल्मषचित्तानां पापद्रव्योपजीविनां विधिक्रिया विहीनानां गतिः गोविन्द कीर्तनम. This is the shloka which has laid the seed to this satsanga that we are holding for the next 5 days. Gatir Govinda Keertanam. If there is any refuge for all of us, irrespective of what caste, what creed, what country, what geography we come from, it is Govinda Keertanam. That is why it is called as a Gatih, which is a refuge. So, we could not have had a better title to these 5 days workshop that we are holding, or I would like to call it a 5 days satsangam that we are holding. I wouldn't claim myself to be a very great expert. Reason being that the more and more one indulges in Sampradaya Bhajana, the more and more the realization comes that we don't know anything. We might have our own ideas of I know this and I know that, but when you come across Bhagavatas, veterans, you realize that one does not know anything. However, I am just taking this opportunity to share whatever little I have gathered over the last few decades of my engagement in bhajans. And if there are 2 people whom I would like to name before I proceed further, to whom all my reverences go, and without whom I would not have known whatever little I know, and only through whom I am going to know more as my life goes ahead. It is my Gurunatha, Shri Shri Anna, who is also known as Shri Shri Krishna Premi Swamigal. Without him, I would be nothing today. And when it comes to the subject of bhajans, I am absolutely and most deeply indebted to Sri Ramakrishna Bhagavatar from Tiruvisalur. We will learn more about Tiruvisalur as we go ahead in this 5-day journey. But I must tell you that he is a giant among Bhagavatas from whom you can keep sourcing more and more, and you will keep getting more and more. So I start the session, this 5-day session, with my deepest reverences and namaskaras to my Guru Sri Anna and to my friend, philosopher and guide Sri Ramakrishna Bhagavatar. So before we embark on this journey, just a few things to take note of. As I delve in this subject, you will find that I will need to use many terminologies which will predominantly be Sanskrit terminologies. But let me tell you that they won't be too tough ones. They are all going to be very common ones which we have come across even in our mother tongues. But whenever the need for those terminologies would come, I would use them as it is. I would not make an attempt to translate them to English, because English will not permit me to express a few emotions and sentiments which those words will express themselves when they are uttered in Sanskrit. The next thing is, what is the pattern that we are going to hold for these 5 days? We are going to have a lead-follow pattern. And that's the most interesting part. I would lead, and all of you would follow it in your respective places, wherever you are. And I will have one person who will be following, whom you two will be able to listen to, and that is Sri Santosh Bhagavatar, Shobha's brother, about whom Pramodini mentioned a few minutes back. So I would recite and Santosh would repeat, and while Santosh is repeating, all of you kindly repeat at your respective places. Though you will be muted for us, but you will not be muted for yourself. So kindly therefore don't hold any apprehensions. Don't worry about Shruti, Raga, Laya, etc. Just go ahead and repeat it. More than Raga and Laya, Anuraga is what the Lord wants. So this will be the pattern we will follow. And the other thing is, today I hope to cover the Artihara Stotram for sure. And if time permits, we will also enter into the Dhyana Slokas. Tomorrow when we start the day, we will cover whatever we cover today and take up what we want to cover tomorrow. The day after tomorrow, we will again have a cumulative rendering, so that by the time you are on the 5th day, you would have all sung Sampradaya Bhajana on all the 5 days, and that in itself will be a good orientation. Sampradaya Bhajan is an ocean. One can spend years in Sampradaya Bhajan and yet feel that there is a lot more left. What we therefore propose to touch upon in these 5 days is Todayamangalam. Shobhaji has taken a lot of effort in getting the whole script compiled and circulated to all of you. So while all of you have your copies for reference whenever you need, as we go ahead and render this over here, she will keep displaying them on the screen so that you can just watch your screen and follow it. And the last thing which I would like to mention is that rather than purely just sing and follow, it is important that we understand what we are singing. We need to understand the context in which these slokas have been sung or the songs have been sung. It's very important that whatever slokas or songs we are going to sing in the next 5 days, we get a grasp of its purport. It's very important. Predominantly in Sampradaya Bhajan, there will be many songs which will be in Telugu. A lot of them are there in Telugu. So the ideal expectation is that all of us should know these languages so that we are able to enjoy what those saints have tried to convey us. Having said that, it's not an easy task for all of us to know all the languages, learn its meanings, and then come and sing Sampradaya Bhajan. Our lifetimes would get over. So what we do is, fortunately for us, Sampradaya Bhajana has been set up in such a way that there are a specific set of songs. And these specific set of songs, one would learn, understand its meaning, what they try to convey, and we carry that on. And let me tell you, even if one were to sing only these specific set of songs, they themselves are going to be completely fulfilling. You will not feel, it's very, very amazing. It's an amazing experience. If you just know only the Todayamangalam and not the rest of Sampradaya Bhajana, you are not missing anything. Because it's so fulfilling in its experience. It is not about the number of songs we know. It's not about the amount of knowledge that we gain. It's about the experience. It's about the anubhava. If you get that anubhava, even Todayamangalam is fulfilling. In fact, many times I have told it to my co-bhagavatas. Sometimes when we start the Todayamangalam in a bhajan, after the Todayamangalam is over, we feel that okay, I think we can stop. Because you are absolutely up to the brim with the Todayamangalam itself. That is what the Todayamangalam can actually impart on us as an experience, as an anubhava. So therefore we have a set number of songs which we sing in Sampradaya, not only for Todayamangalam, even for the other aspects of Sampradaya Bhajan. It is best if we are able to read these slokas and songs in Sanskrit. Many of us might not know Sanskrit, but I can tell you it's worth the effort to start learning Sanskrit from today. We need to put that effort, and if we have that Shraddha within us that I want to learn Sampradaya Bhajan by reading it in Sanskrit, it will carry you along. It will piggyback you. That's a promise. So having laid these ground rules on how we are going to operate the next 5 days, let's now enter the arena of Sampradaya. Gatih Govinda Keertanam is about Pracheena Sampradaya Bhajana. Pracheena Sampradaya Bhajana comes from the word Sampradaya. So we need to understand what is Sampradaya. We need to appreciate what Sampradaya is. Many of us would have different understandings of what Sampradaya means. Sampradaya is a system. In every walk of life that we have, don't we have systems? We have systems for everything in our daily lives. Following a system bestows us discipline. This discipline is very important for us. It allows a seamlessness in our social behavior and also our spiritual behavior. It's very important so that we don't be erratic in what we do. All of you would have heard this word Sampradaya so many times. There is a Sampradayam for everything in India. But I am not here to touch upon the Laukika Sampradayams. We are here to talk about the Bhajana Sampradayam. So the closest that you can see which matches in divinity is a Vaidika Sampradayam, for instance. The reason why I am touching upon this aspect of Sampradaya is because all Sampradayas, they have a root elsewhere. A Sampradaya which we see in a particular form today, it is not necessarily how it was when it started. But what is important is where it started. As long as the Sampradaya started at the right place, it will definitely imbibe in us the right things. The roots of all these Sampradayas like a Bhagavata Sampradaya, Bhajana Sampradaya, Vaidika Sampradaya, etc., their roots can be traced back to the Vedas, to the Shastras, in some form or the other. But that's where they would have found their origin. What makes it so important? What makes it so important that it has to be rooted in the Vedas and Shastras? The reason is that anything that has its roots with the Vedas and Shastras are the only thing which enjoy the patronage of the rishis, the saints, the sadhus, and all the evolved souls who have treaded the land of Bharata. So all the acharyas, all the saints, everybody patronize whatever has a base in the Vedas and Shastras. And that's where also comes the name Sanatana Dharma. These Sampradayams which have existed over eons have undergone, definitely they have undergone changes. There are lots of evolutions that have happened to match time, to match geographies, and to match many other things which are happening around the world. Many of them have undergone a complete metamorphosis, I would say, but still, at its core and at its heart, will be a Veda and a Shastra which propagated it. I just wanted to give that gist about what Sampradaya meant before I dive deeper into what is Bhajana Sampradaya. So, in the whole universe of Sampradaya, which I talked about, having its roots in Vedas and Shastras, we now take up the portion called Bhajana Sampradaya. Bhajana Sampradaya is also called as Pracheena Bhajana Sampradaya or Pracheena Bhajana Paddhati. In today's session, there will be a bit of this talking that I will be doing because I thought it's good to set up all these areas for our understanding, and then so that when we go ahead and start learning the slokas and the songs, we are able to really appreciate it in its full color and in its actual content. So, Dakshina Bhajana Sampradaya, as we call it, is Bhajana Sampradaya or Sampradaya Bhajana Paddhati. Again, like I told, Sampradaya is a system, Paddhati is a system. It's a way It's a manner of rendering. It's a manner of following it. All saints have equivocally told us something. And that is that in this age of Kali, Nama Sankirtana is the sole prescribed route to salvation. This is not to belittle the other margas, and this is not to say then don't go to the other margas. One has to adopt the other margas, but if you can adopt it along with Nama Sankirtana, those margas which are otherwise difficult become very simple. Let me give you a small example. It's our personal experience. When we sit for a bhajan, we don't know when 4 hours of bhajan happened. And these 4 hours, if I were to ask anybody to sit in a yogasana for 4 hours, they would not have done it. But in these 4 hours of bhajan, everybody sat in one single asana and they could do it. Again, if I were to ask you to meditate for even 10 minutes without your mind wavering anywhere, it's almost close to impossible. But look at these bhajana, the Bhagavatas who are doing bhajans, they are at it for hours together. And I am a witness to so many people who have completely drowned themselves in this Nama Sankirtana. So this is something that Nama Sankirtana can bestow on all of us. Bhajana Sampradaya is therefore a system for performing Nama Sankirtana. Now it should be done in a manner which is very simple, which is very interesting, and it should be doable by everyone. So our forefathers who set up Bhajana Sampradaya for us ensure that it is doable by each one of us. And in order that it goes in a disciplined manner, they set up the templates, they set up the formats which we should follow, and which is what we are going to follow in the next 5 days. Just following what these greats set up for us will ensure our elevation. And the effort that one would have put to get this elevation in comparison is actually very trivial. We have all heard of rishis who meditated for hundreds and thousands of years. We can't even comprehend it. But we are in a position to gain what they gained with very, very less effort. And that is in fact, my Guru says that's a virtue of the age of Kali. That you are able to get such monumental things by putting the least of efforts. Having seen what Bhajana Sampradaya is all about, now let us come to a few more aspects. Who set up Bhajana Sampradaya is a question that will arise in many hearts. Who started it? I can tell you very confidently, there is no one single person who started it. Our Sanatana Dharma is not a system which is run by a person or which is run by a book. None. We have had a plethora of saints, rishis and sadhus who have contributed to this. Even the Vedas cannot be credited to any one single person creating it. No. Similarly, there is no one single person who created Bhajana Sampradaya a few thousand years back and said, go, follow. But one of the oldest stalwarts of Bhajan, if I may call, is Sage Narada, whom all of us know. Always he is doing Narayana Japa and Narayana Gana. And his bhajans happened anywhere. And my Guru very jocularly says, he had an invitation even in the court of Hiranyakashipu. Even there he could go and perform bhajan. Nobody will stop him. That was his quality. So, one of the oldest exponents of Bhajana Sampradaya, if I were to say, is Sage Narada. And after him, there have been so many saints who have nourished it, who have embellished it, who have rejuvenated it from time to time. It is like Vedas itself, like I mentioned to you. The Dakshina Bhajana Sampradaya, which we have taken up now, can be credited to the efforts of one saint called Sri Sadguru Swamigal. Sadguru Swamigal is Venkatarama Swamigal is his name. Venkatarama is his name. He hailed from the village of Marudanallur in the south of India in the Tanjore district. The Dakshina Bhajana Sampradaya that all of us are following today has been handed over to us by him. This means today we are following a system of sing this first, sing this next, sing this next, sing this next. Do this while you sing this, do this while you sing this. So all these things which has been set up for us by Sadguru Swamigal. So all our respects should go to him for having handed over us this wonderful gem of Sampradaya Bhajan to us today. This does not mean that before Sadguru Swamigal there was no Bhajana Sampradaya. So let me correct that. There was Bhajana Sampradaya even before him. All of you would have heard Sri Bhadrachala Ramadasa. All of you would have heard Sri Purandara Dasa. These are all saints who were there, who tread this land even before Sadguru Swamigal, before his advent in this earth. They already followed Bhajana Sampradayas even at that time. What Sadguru Swamigal did was, he collected all of them, he reorganized all of them, he made it relevant for all of us today to follow. He has literally given us a treasure chest of bhajans is what we should say. Because Sadguru Swamigal, he travelled through the length and breadth of this country and he ensured that we get a sampradaya which encompasses the contributions of all the saints of this land. So from the east you have the Gita Govindam, from the north you will have the Kabir and Tulsi Keertanas, from the west you will have all the Abhangs, you will have Meera Bhajans, and from the south you will have Bhadrachala Das Keertanas, Purandara Dasas, Dasarnamas, then you would have all the Tamil songs by the Alvars and Nayanmars, everything is there. So he has sort of conducted he has done a very big compilation of all the works of the saints of India and he has handed it all over to us in one single book. So now you will realize why I said that we are only touching the Todayamangalam part of Sampradaya Bhajan in this session of 5 days. Now this would have already given you a view of how huge his work was. Multifarious bhavas come out of the multifarious kirtanas that he has compiled for us. And mind you, all the people whose kirtanas Sadguru Swamigal brought, all of them are Avatara Purushas and all of them are very, very renowned saints. So he has not just compiled some songs for us. Swamigal thus made a Sampradaya, and the best part of it is that it was made very inclusive. When I say inclusive, in a Sampradaya Bhajana, everybody has a role. Everybody has a role. That's how he has made it. So everybody is able to participate to their content. That's how he made it. Linguistically, it is inclusive. Then in the forms of kirtanas, it's inclusive. In every way it is inclusive. But while he made it inclusive and easy for everybody to take up, he was non-negotiable in the template or the framework that is set up in the bhajans. That is absolutely non-negotiable. So that's a very beautiful combination of inclusivity yet having a flexibility. Why I say this? In today's Sampradaya Bhajans, for example, people sing the Keertanas of Tyagaraja, they sing the Keertanas of Gopalakrishna Bharati. No, these Keertanas were not included by Sadguru Swamigal when he set up the Sampradaya. Because Tyagaraja, Sant Tyagaraja and Gopalakrishna Bharati, their advent is after Sadguru Swamigal. So therefore they did not get included earlier. So while he made a framework, the framework is such that you are able to later on include the works of some of the other saints who have come and treaded this land. In the recent years, this Sampradaya Bhajana has undergone many a renaissance, I would say. And if there is one figure whom all of us would recollect The moment we talk about Dakshina Bhajana Sampradaya and the moment we say that he caused a renaissance, it is unmistakably Pudukkottai Gopalakrishna Bhagavatar. He breathed bhajan all throughout his life, is what I can say. They are all Sampradaya Purushas. But one can see that there is a lot of change in time. Bhagavatar's schedules of bhajans are seemingly impossible for us to follow today because lifestyles have changed, work life has changed, family lives have changed. Geographically, all of us are absolutely scattered across, not only within India, even outside of India. So there came a need to have a concise approach to Sampradaya Bhajana without losing its content and without losing its luster. And there, another Avatara Purusha who caused a renaissance, my Sadguru, Sri Krishna Premi Swamigal, he set up the Premika Bhajana Sampradaya, where the songs are different. He set up songs which were shorter. He set up a system where we could follow it in a much more shorter period of time. But both of them ensured that there is no compromise on what Sampradaya Bhajana wanted us to achieve in our lifetimes. Age of Kali anyway, it continues to surge more and more, and we are all witnessing a lot of chaos and temerity all around us. Everybody's lives are tossed up and down. And one might wonder, in this chaos, how am I going to do Nama Sankirtana? A very simple Nama Sankirtana form thus emerged in the form of Premika Sampradaya. Now, before I launch finally into starting the Dakshina Bhajana Sampradaya, I have to request all of you to excuse me for a rather longish preface, but I thought this was very, very contextual and the perspective had to be set. Bhajana Sampradaya, Dakshina Bhajana Sampradaya is not the only Bhajana Sampradaya that this land knows. I will just state that and then proceed further. Every corner of India you go, you will have a Bhajana Sampradaya. You come to Maharashtra, you have the Varkari Bhajana Sampradaya. You go to Gujarat, you have the Pushti Marga Bhajana Sampradaya. You go further up, you have the Nimbarka Sampradaya. You go east, you have the Gaudiya Sampradaya. You go anywhere, you have different Bhajana Sampradayas which exist. Thankfully, because all those people who were restricted to certain local geographies, it ensured that those people got the benefit of Nama Sankirtana. Having said this, let us now approach Dakshina Bhajana Sampradaya. So, a very quick snapshot, bullets of what we'll cover in the next 5 days. What aspects of Todayamangalam we are going to cover in the next 5 days, Sampradaya Bhajana. It will be Pundarikam, followed by Artihara Stotram, then how a bhajan commences, Dhyana Shlokas, and finally the Todayamangalam, which consists of 5 Keertanas or 5 songs. So let us now start with Pundarikam. Janaki Kanta Smaranam
Jai Jai Rama Rama
Namah Parvati Pataye
Hara Hara Mahadeva
Gopika Jeevana Smaranam
Govinda Govinda
Pundari Kavarada
Hari Vitthale
Sadguru Swaminaha
Jai
Samasta Bhagavatanam
Jai
Anjaneya Swaminaha
Jai
What you heard now is Pundarikam. In Pundarikam, there are two parts. One is a Vachanam and another is a Prativachanam. So when I said Janaki Kanta Smaranam, immediately all of you listened to Santosh. He said Jai Jai Rama Rama. What is Pundarikam? Simply put, Pundarikam means lotus. So whatever we recited just now, 6 of these Pundarikams which we recited just now, what relation do these have to the term Pundarikam or lotus? Here, the lotus is our heart. Our heart is the lotus. So what are we doing in this Pundarikam? The moment we say Janaki Kanta Smaranam Jai Jai Rama Rama, immediately in our lotus hearts, we are placing the Lord. Just like you would place him on a Simhasana or in a Jula, you are placing him in your heart. Any Nama Sankirtanam which happens should start with the Pundarikam. That Pundarikam is a gist of what you are going to sing. So in the lotus of our hearts, we are placing the Lord before we start Nama Sankirtana. There are a few beautiful things about Pundarikam which you should take note of. What did we say? Janaki Kanta Smaranam Jai Jai Rama Rama. We are going to place Sri Rama in our heart, right? But when we invite Sri Rama to our hearts, we tell Rama, I invite you along with your consort Sita. Ours is possibly the only tradition in this world which celebrates Yugalam. Yugalam means couple. Sita Rama, the divine couple. Radha Krishna, the divine couple. Parvati Parameshwara, the divine couple. We celebrate couples. This is something very amazing about our traditions. So, we say Janaki Kanta Smaranam Jai Jai Rama Rama. Some people will say Sita Kanta Smaranam also. Rama is not Rama without Sita. So that's why we say Janaki Kanta Smaranam. The next one is very, very catchy. It says Namah Parvati Pataye. Namah Parvati Pataye. Hara Hara Mahadeva. See here also Parvati Pate Mahadeva. In the land of Maharashtra, they will say Parvati Pate instead of Parvati Pataye. Grammatically, both mean the same. But what is worth noting is here we say Namah Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadeva. When I was discussing this aspect with Sri Ramakrishna Bhagavatar, he gave me a wonderful insight which I want to share with all of you. Why does this start with Namah Parvati Pataye? Many of you would have actually heard Har Har Namah Parvati Pataye is what we generally get to hear. But I learned that grammatically that is incorrect. When I got to know this and when I started referring some old books and when I started observing some old Bhagavatas, I found that none of them said Har Har Namah Parvati. Everybody said Namah Parvati Pataye. Now this is something which was a learning to me. So Namah Parvati Pataye. So why does Namah Parvati Pataye happen? So Ramakrishna Bhagavatar told me, when Sri Rudram starts, how do you start? Namaste Rudra Manyava. We start Namaste. So whenever we talk about Shiva, the first thing that comes is Namaste. Therefore Namaha. See, it's just one Pundarikam. I could have just flown past all these 6 and gone ahead, but I would not have made justice, is what I genuinely feel. Another very important input I got is that I am sure there will be many people in this group who know Natyakala Shastra. I am told in Natya, if one were to do Abhinaya for Shiva, it will be Namaste. See how deep rooted these concepts have been in all the facets of our tradition. Not only in poetry or not something very different in dance or not something very different in singing. Everywhere it is so seamless. The same thought, the same concept, the same principle. And that's why it is Namah Parvati Pataye. And Krishna is nothing without gopis. We all know so many Krishnas. We know Yashodakar Ladla Krishna. We know Dwarakadisha Krishna. We know Bhagavad Gita Acharya Krishna. We know the Krishna who was there in the as a Parthasarathi, as a charioteer to Arjuna. We know so many Krishnas. He is one incarnation which has so many facets about himself. But all these melt away and all these melt into the gopis. Without the gopis, what Balakrishna are we going to talk about? What Navanita Chora are we going to talk about? It is only the gopis. So if one were to want to call out Krishna, we have to remember the gopis. So our Sampradaya Purushas taught us Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Lord Krishna, who is Govinda, he has to be remembered as the life of gopis. He is the heart of all those gopis. So when we remember Krishna in this way, automatically we are also remembering the gopis. That's why Gopika Jivana Smaranam. Next one. Pundalika Varada Hari Vithala. Many people you will hear them say like this, Pundalika. That is a change which has come much later. Traditionally, it is Pundarika Varada. You all know Pundarika. Had it not been for Pundarika, we would not have got Vithala. Had it not been for Sita, we would not know the Rama whom we know today. Had we not known gopis, we would not know the Krishna whom we know today, whom we love so much today. Had it not been for Parvati and her penance, we would not know Shiva today. Similarly, had it not been for Pundarika, we would not have known Vithala at all. He was the one who threw that meter or brick, and there stood Panduranga. He stands on even today. So his name is Vithala for that reason. So Pundarika Varada Hari Vithala. So all of you might ask me, well, the first case we had a Yugalam called Sita and Rama. Second case we had a Parvati and Parameshwara. But here I don't see any. It's a very good thought if it comes. Rukmini Devi, she is there with Panduranga in his Vakshasthala when he comes. My Guru tells something very interesting. He says, in all our marriages, in south of India, we will all have come across Saptapadi. In the north of India, we have Sat Fere. This Saptapadi, if you notice it, the groom, he touches the toe of the bride and he makes her walk 7 steps. And in each step, there are various Vedic mantras which are recited and which actually encapsulates what their married life is going to be like. So when Krishna had his marriage with Rukmini, he said, Rukmini, you and me have to at one point in time go and stand atop a brick. So and in that Saptapadi, what happens is there is a stone on which the bride will come and finally stand. So he told Rukmini, you practice now itself. Later on, you and me have to go to Pandharpur and we have to go and stand on that brick. So start practicing from now itself. My Guru always says this. So therefore, when we say Pundarika Varada, since he already told her that she has to stand on the brick, and since the brick is thrown by Pundarika, naturally she is there because he has already made her practice it. So it is implied that Rupini is already here. All these people, all these gods, all these lords whom we know it only if we have a Guru. Had there been no Sadguru in our life, neither would I be talking here today, nor would you people be listening today. All of us have our own Gurus. Fortunately, all of us have come across our Gurus. And therefore, the next Pundarika is for the Guru. The Guru blesses us and gives us the Upadesha. And what the Guru does next is that he keeps us in a Sangha. Today we are all in a Satsanga. This Satsanga is happening because of the benign blessings of a Guru. It is invisible, but it is happening. So the next Pundarika is for those Bhagavatas, for those saints, for those sadhus. And finally, Anjaneya. We all have a practice today, even now, we all have a practice of giving this Pundarika of Anjaneya at the fag end of the Pundarika. Let me tell you, while we talked about this 6 Pundarikams over here, there are many more Pundarikams which people can add to this, depending upon their gurus or depending upon whomever they worship. They can add. But these 6, definitely yes. So like I told you, there is a non-negotiable template. And there is also an inclusiveness. You can add more. But when you add more, just take care to ensure that by adding a Pundarika, you are not reducing the majesty or the Gambhirya of whomever has been given over here. We have to ensure that that does not get diluted. So that's the flexibility given to us. We use our discretion, and that's a template. This is about Pundarika. Okay. Now, I don't know. I think today's session will be there for Pundarika only. I don't think I'm going to be able to touch Hartiya Stotra, but I don't mind. All of you notice something? Janaki Kanta Smaranam Jai Jai. We are saying a Jai Jai. There is a Jaya Ghosha. Hara Hara Mahadeva. Hara Hara is a Ghosha over here. Govinda, Govinda is also a Ghosha over here. Hari Vithala is a Ghosha. Sadguru Swaminaha Jai. Bhagavatanam Jai. Anjaneya Swaminaha Jai. What is this Jai? In a Pundarikam, Jai is about hailing the Lord. It is about saying victory to Him, victory to Him, victory to Him. Why do we need to say victory to Him? All of us are used to say victory to so many people in our lives. Whether they have a relevance to us or not, whether they have really contributed to our lives or not, we all are accustomed to hailing victory for someone or the other. Should we not actually hail victory to these? Otherwise, in this busy world, what is it that made a bunch of us or a handful of us to assemble today and for the next 5 days for this satsanga? In our mundane world, we are completely caught up with all sorts of material pursuits, where it is very, very difficult for anybody to wrench us out of this. If our Guru and if the Lord has managed to pull us out for this satsanga session, is it not a victory to them? Is it not a victory to them? Just imagine, in this 1 hour there are so many things that you and me can do, which has nothing to do with spirituality or divinity. But the Guru, somewhere, somehow, he has managed to get us all together to a satsanga. So, it's a Jaya Ghosha to the Guru. He has won. He has won because he has brought us over here. That is why we say Jaya Ghosha. Now, this is the basic concept behind Pundarika. And before I move to the next part, either for today or for tomorrow, one more final word about Pundarikam itself. Just imagine if I could share so many thoughts on Pundarikam with whatever little knowledge I had. Just imagine what would happen if this subject lands in the hands of some real doyen. In this Pundarika, there is a sequence, and I want all of us to unmistakably follow this sequence. Like I mentioned to you, we can add our Pundarikas for our gurus or for our Ishtadevatas, but not by compromising this sequence. The first in the sequence was Janaki Kanta Smaranam Jai Jai Rama Rama. Then came Namah Parvati Pate Hara Hara Mahadeva. Then Gopika Jeevana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. So let me stop here. There is a reason why this sequence has to be followed uncompromisingly. All that we know about Sampradaya Bhajana today, like I mentioned to you, they are all due to Sadguru Swamigal from Marudanallur. So if I go bottoms up, our respects to Marudanallur Sadguru Swamigal is through the Pundarikam Gopika Jeevana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. We will learn more about him at some other point in time. But you ask Marudanallur Sadguru Swamigal, he will say, no. I owe all about Nama Sankirtanam to somebody else. Please don't give it to me. I will pass it on to them. And who are they? They are two major towering personalities. One is Sri Sridharayyaval from Thiruvasanallur and Sri Bodhendra Swamigal from Govindapuram. Both of whom were contemporaries. Sridharayyaval was a Grihastha, Bodhendra Swamigal was a sannyasi. But both of them had a common link, and that was Tarakanamam. Both of them strained every nerve and sinew to ensure that Nama Sankirtanam is established everywhere, such that even the simplest of folks should be able to follow it. So, Namah Parvati Pate Hara Hara Mahadeva is our salutation to Sri Ayyaval. And Janaki Kanta Smaranam is our salutation to Bodhendra. So therefore, first we start the bhajana with a Pundarikam or a salutation to Bodhendra, followed by Ayyaval, followed by Sadguru Swamigal, and after that only comes Pundarikam, because he gave us Pandurangan. So after that comes Pandurangan. So when we say Pundarika Varda Hari Vittala, it is our salutation to to Pundarika. All of you would know Pundarika's charitra, so I wouldn't dwell into that. And then all this came to us because of our own personal Guru, so Sadguru Swaminaha Jai. And then we have to thank our Guru that he has kept us in this Sangam today, so that we have all gathered for a Satsanga. So we have to give a victory Gosham to all the Bhagavatas who are there in and around us, like the ramparts of a fort. They are there around us to secure us and to protect us. And the Agraganya amongst all the Bhagavatas, in fact, when we give a Pundarikam for Anjaneya, we actually say Parama Bhagavata Anjaneya Swaminaha Jai. There is no Bhagavata who is above Hanuman. For all his capabilities, for all his skills, for all his knowledge, for all his power, he was a Dasa to Sri Rama. That was his jnana. Parama Bhagavata, if anybody is able to, has visited or is going to visit Bodhendra Matam in Govindapuram, as you enter the Govindapuram Matam, straight ahead of you from the entrance, when you enter, you will see a large Anjaneya standing there greeting all of us. This Anjaneya is named as Parama Bhagavata Anjaneya. He was named so by my Guru. So that is Anjaneya. So this is of the Pundarikam, which is the start of a bhajan. It happens. And next after that comes Artihara Stotram. Artihara Stotram is a stotra made by Sri Sridhara Ayyaval. And after chanting this stotra only, the rest of the bhajan commences. This stotra by Ayyaval is also very, very interesting and good to know. We will dive deep into Artihara Stotram tomorrow and then continue our progress in this journey. So today, let us just chant Artihara Stotram. Let me just chant Artihara Stotram. Tomorrow, we will take up this chant again from a repeat mode and also understand its meaning in brief. Hara Hara Nama Parvati Pataye
Hara Hara Mahadeva
Shri Shambho Mayi Karunam Shishiram Drishtim Dishan Sudha Vrishtim Santapamapa Kurume Manta Paramesha Tavadayaha Syam Avasidami Yadartibhi Anugunamidamokhasom Hasam Khanume Tadvasannavasidami Yadantakashasana Tattavanugunam Devasmaranti Tavaye Tesham Smarato Pinartiriti Kirtim Kalayasi Shivapahiti Krandam Sidamyaham Kimuchitamidam Adishyagakritau Mam Antaryamin Asabaghatmeti Artishu Majjayase Mam Kim Bruyam Tava Kripaikapatramagam Mandagraniragam Tava Maya Karunam Ghatayitum Vibhonalam Akrashtum Tam Tu Baladalamihamadainyamiti Samashvasimi Tvam Sarvajnyoham Punarajnyo Anishoham Ishwarastvamasi Tvam Mayi Doshan Ganayasi Kim Kataye Tadutati Kim Dayanatvam Asritamartataram Mam Upekshase Kiviti Shivanakim Dayase Shatagopta Dinarti Hridati Khalu Samsamti Jagati Santastvam Prakarahareti Vadi Panita Madakya iti Palito Bhavata Shivapahi iti Vadoham Shrito Nikim Tvam Katham Napalyaste Sharanam Vraja Shivamartihi Shivamartihi Satava Hareti Satam Giragam Tvam Sharanam Gatosmi Palaya Khalamapi Teshu Isha Pakshapatan Mam Sharanam Vraja Shivamarti Satava Harediti Satam Giragam Tvam Sharanam Gatosmi Palaya Khalamapi Teshu Isha Pakshapatan Mam Sharanam Vraja Shivamarti Satava Harediti Satam Giragam Tvam Sharanam Gatosmi Palaya Khalamapi Teshu Isha Pakshapatan Mam Namah Parvati Pataye
Hara Hara Mahadeva
Sadguru Swaminaha
Jai.
With this, we will conclude the session today. Tomorrow, we will start the session with the Artihara Stotram. Radhe Krishna.
Hari Om. We will close the session with our closing prayer. 1 minute. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Looking forward to meeting all of you again tomorrow. Hari Om.
Radhe Krishna.
Radhe Krishna.